following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, why every man in a thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to Crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC. Always love the clothes of Jimmy. Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be, Jimmy Star, new celebrity. We'll take you out to Jimmy Stars.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. It's going to be a fun show today. I'm very much looking forward to it. We have one of my favorite icons of horror, Brett Wagner's coming on, and after Brett Wagner comes on, we're going to have our favorite violinist, Daisy Jopling.
Oh!
Coming on.
I have to find out what happened after Egypt.
So it should be a lot of fun today, you guys. I'm looking forward to it. I also want to do some shout outs. Two big shout outs. First off, we want to wish Cindy Diadamo, I'm not even sure how it's Cindy Lady Lake, because that's how I know her. Today is her birthday, and she's a very good friend of mine for about 15 years, so I want to wish her a happy birthday.
Gemini.
And I also want to give a happy birthday to Twiz and White Piece, who did our exit song, and today is his 41st birthday.
Happy birthday, Gemini.
There you go. And we want to give a shout out. People are starting to show up in the chat room. Mike Wagner from the Mike Wagner Show. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Cindy Lady Lake is in the chat room. B. Claudia from Germany. Hey, B, how are you? So I just want to make sure we wish everybody a happy birthday. We hope you guys have a great birthday and a great day every day. Obviously, we want everything to always be good. So then we've got the dogs. What else is going on now with us?
Well, aside from the fact that I'm in severe pain all over my body because I'm married to a man who thinks I'm 34 years old or 24 years old. And I do things with him at almost 84 years old that 60-year-olds can't do. I lifted boulders this big. Okay, I've dug holes. I dug a trench. I planted flowers. I did a water system with pipes. In yesterday, 99 degrees it was. 99, and the sun was beating down. I swear to you, I felt like I was a slave out in the cotton fields, and Jimmy was the master.
I wasn't the master. I told you to tell me what to do, and you're like,
no. Now I was out this morning completing the garden.
I didn't help today. I had to work.
And I worked my ass off, and then I had to come in, take a shower, and get dressed, and do this show for free. I don't get paid. He thinks because we're married, I don't need to get a salary.
Well, you bring in an advertiser, and then you can get a salary.
You know what I have? 2 words for you. It's not happy holiday.
Yeah.
All right. Bring in.
Mm-hmm.
Bring in. Okay.
That's how it all works.
No, when I work in a movie, I get paid. They don't say bring in.
I know, but this isn't a movie. This is a show with your name in it, the title.
Big deal.
Well.
What does that get me? What, my name gets me money since when?
Yeah, I know. Anyway, you guys, we missed last week.
So I'm married to someone who really doesn't care about me or love me.
Yeah,
he's just married to me so he can make me a slave of his and do all the jobs that he's too lazy to do because he's...
Oh, please don't say lazy. I mean, come on, be real.
I like to get you mad.
I know, but I work 15 hours a day.
Yeah, but he's 23 years my junior.
That's true.
So, he doesn't...
no, you can see I was in the sun. See how splotchy I am? I was out there too. That's why my face looks like I got attacked by ants. And yours is beautiful and perfect.
Of course, because I have Italian skin with,
Yeah.
with olive oil in it. Lots of olive oil on it and in it. Olive oil is the answer to no wrinkles and healthy complexion.
So all is good. We missed last week, but we're happy to be back. And we're probably going to have a few weeks coming up.
Last week, I had a Eurolift, not a facelift, a Eurolift. Because at my age, all of you men and women out there know we pee all night long. We can get up 5, 6, 7 times to pee, which the next day we're wiped out because we're so sleep, deprived. I was going to say deficient. So there's this there's a surgery called Eurolift where they go up to the penis and they put a clip in your prostate and it opens the prostate up. Because when you get old, your prostate grows and it closes your urethra tube where you pee through. That's why you get up 100 times a night. So now it's going to take about 2 or 3 weeks for it to work. But that's what I had done last week. And the procedure was nothing because after the procedure was over, Jimmy and I had a very important meeting that we had to do for a couple of hours. So there I was with the, what's it called?
Interesting day.
The thing you did.
A catheter.
I had a catheter with a bag on my leg where I was urinating.
And you put it on Facebook to show everybody.
Well, you know why? I want everybody out there to know, to tell their fathers or grandfathers or great-grandfathers that there is now a solution to the prostate problem that we get when we grow old. And I want the world to know it's called a Eurolift, and it works. And let's see. Now I have another week of healing before it kicks in.
Absolutely.
So that was our last week. And then, of course, I'm not supposed to lift anything, the doctor said. And there I am lifting 20-pound boulders and digging holes. And this one has got the whip.
Not true.
Hitting me with the whip.
He just has to do
and then
everything.
I said to him, I'd like water. And he said, no, I won't give you any because I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? Hilarious. If that really is going on in Georgia, why hasn't our current president done something about it? He talked about it in his speech, complaining about how if in Georgia you are online to vote and somebody gives you water, you're arrested. Well, President, get rid of that law. Don't talk about it.
For anybody who likes Larry David, they did like 5 episodes on it. It was very, very funny.
I mean, really, this is like nonsense. What does this president do but just talk bad about everybody?
Anyway.
That's all he likes to do is complain. I'm not happy with this president. Not at all.
So B says it's good that you told everybody that.
Told everybody what?
About the prostate, because like it's a problem for everybody.
Yeah, I wanted to share it because, you know, I have a lot of people that listen to my stupidity. And
we have an older audience too.
And I want them to know that every now and then some intelligence does come out of my mouth. And that's what it was. And it's a nothing surgery. It was a joke. I went in, they gave me Michael Jackson juice. They knocked me out. He went up my penis, put the thing in, came out of my penis, and then gave me flowers.
He was home like 3 hours later, or 3
or 4 hours later. He didn't get the joke, and then he gave me flowers. And the doctor and I now are going to go pick out China this week.
Right.
He fell in love. What can I tell you?
What can I tell
that's
you?
Just a joke. That's a silly, silly, willy joke. I want to talk about my dear friend Julian Schlossberg. He has a radio show that's really incredible because of the guests that he's got on. Last week he had Isabella Rossellini, Ingrid Bergman's daughter, and the interview is stunning. And Julian is wonderful at what he does. For those of you who don't know who Julian is, look him up. He's a big shot in New York, Broadway, hung around with Barbara Streisand and all those folk. So
actually, yeah, he had Martin Sheen. He had the guy from Turner Classic Movies, Ben Mankiewicz.
Yeah, I mean,
He's got some really great guests.
Really great guests.
And his platform is on Red Circle, just like ours, you guys.
So listen in to
listen
Julian Schlossberg.
And our show with Julian is one of our biggest shows. I think we got it was him and somebody else.
Julian is coming.
We got 17 million plays, I think.
Yeah, Julian is coming back on soon, so we could talk more about his radio show. Also, to talk more about his book, which is really a very, very nostalgic book for people my age that came from Brooklyn or the Bronx. It's a lovely book, a little life story, and it's charming the way he wrote it. So I would suggest you get it. I forgot the title.
I don't remember.
I mean, I don't remember the title of anything anymore.
Actually, B. Claudia probably knows. She'll probably tell us.
Yeah, B. Claudia
what's
bought
Julian's
it. She
book?
bought
What's
it.
Julian's book name, B? Do you remember? I don't remember. I'm sorry, you guys, but he's a good friend of ours, but I don't remember anybody's book's name.
Oh, I love him. He's my buddy. He's been so good to me. A man with his kind of importance and power who has absolutely helped me cast my movie. He gave me Renee Taylor. He's giving me Carol Kane. He's just been wonderful. He's been very supportive. I wish that there were more people like him in our business. Maybe we'd have better movies made.
Absolutely. All right. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in every week. We kind of fell out of the charts when we didn't have a show last week, so we dropped to like the top 100 instead of the top 20. So we want to get back up there so you can listen to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Prime. The video's on YouTube, and soon will be on a couple other Roku and a couple other video networks. But right now, it's mostly streaming the audio, and we want everybody to take a listen.
Now, what do they do? Vote for us?
No, you just listen. The more people that listen, that's how the rankings are done. More people that listen,
you don't only have to listen, you can watch. I prefer watching us than to listening because, you know, sometimes we say things that you can't get because you're not seeing it.
I know, but most people listen, so.
Yeah, I know. If you're in the car, it's nice to listen. But if you're near a machine of some kind and you can see us, I would prefer that you watched us because, you know, conversations are good, but when a conversation has an actor in the conversation, you get a performance. Example, it's raining out. Did you see all that rain coming down? Oh my God, it was flooded. That you don't get when you just listen. You see it, and it makes the sentence far more important.
The only thing about that is...
What is it about that now? Contradict me. Yes.
Well, we get paid for people to listen to it. All the streaming platforms, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all the different things.
Okay, so we get, did you say paid?
Yeah, we get paid.
In American currency?
Yes, we get paid.
How come I don't see any of it?
I tell you how much we make, and I tell you I'm using it. I use it to live. We use it to live.
You use it to live. On that little,
but in the meantime,
wait a second, hold it.
What?
I know what it costs to live. I doubt we make that much money.
We don't.
That we could pay to live.
It pays our electric bill.
No, it buys the dog food for our 3 dogs.
Actually, our dog food's expensive. It's like $40 to $50 a bag now.
I know. Everything's expensive.
Everything's expensive. So anyway.
Wait, $30 for a car wash. Could you believe that? My little car, it's this big, and it was $30 to get a car wash. I almost fainted.
Hilarious. In the meantime, you guys, please listen to us. Apple Podcast is the best place.
Not $30, $39.
No, it was $30 plus tip, tax and tip.
It was almost $40.
No, it's $32. I know, honey. I get my car washed there all the time.
Okay. You never told me how much it cost.
Yeah, I did. You were with me. So we go to the car wash place. He's actually with me. He sees the sign. I say I'm going to get the car wash. He doesn't pay any attention. So then he goes on his own when I'm not with him, and he has a heart attack because it's $30.
Because when I go with Jimmy, I go sit outside in the sun because, you know, they have lounges out there. And I don't care what's going on. I don't pay attention to trivia like that because if I did, I wouldn't have time to be so intelligent. And fill my head with intelligent things.
All right, we're going to bring on our first guest. So let's bring him on.
Look at you.
Hey, Brett, how you doing?
How are you? Can you guys hear me good?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you good. Any chance you can turn your phone sideways or whatever that is? Does it go sideways or no?
Well, we'll try here. Whether
There we
There
go.
you go. Now we could see the copper.
Now we're equal.
We could see the copper.
all right.
Shirt.
Hey, all right. Now we're gonna actually do it. So I have to ask a question, but first I'm gonna introduce you as Brett Wagner, Big Swag, aka Lost Leatherface. How's that?
That works. I'll take it all.
Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, actor, host, author, horror icon, Brett Wagner, aka Big Swag, aka Lost Leatherface. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great to be on here with you guys. You know, I've run into you two over many years, different events and different red carpet stuff, and it's just nice to be able to come on here and shoot the shiznit with you.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we're going to do.
And that's exactly what we do. And I have to tell you, so you know Ron already. We have a chat room filling up. Just say hi to people in the chat room.
You look good, by the way. What are you doing to yourself? Getting good sleep or what?
No, I don't sleep at all very well. You know, I was over the weekend, I was emceeing a drag race event, not RuPaul's drag race, but cars. Although I would work for RuPaul if she asked me. But I was in Arizona. So I was there for 3 days, got a little sun. Beard's getting a little whiter. Once you're out in the sun, that thing gets a little white.
Your face looks good.
How tall are you?
Now, wait a minute. RuPaul, I wouldn't work for that bitch if she begged me. Because you know why? I used to do drag for many years. I impersonated Jane Russell. And I was very famous and very good at it. And I sang in my own voice. And believe it or not, I did look like her. Now, I do not look like anybody. But I went to one of the events that RuPaul did. And she was charging $50.
No, $500.
Oh, $500 to go and shake her fag hand. All right. And meet her in the back room.
And the line was 6 blocks long.
So I said, for $500, is she giving head in the back room? I mean, what is she doing in the back room for $500? Since when does a drag queen
I wouldn't pay $500
get $500 to shake her hand? I mean, that's obscene. And I thought,
she's a famous drag queen, and she's got a very popular TV show.
Fame does not entitle you. I don't see. I wrote about that on Facebook because when people become famous, they think that their signature is important and their persona is important. Meanwhile, when there's nobody that wants them anymore, they do a $2 horror movie like Betty Davis and Joan Crawford did. Big shit stars that they were. Look where they wound up. In a crappy movie. Well, I mean,
it was actually unbelievable. I mean, he's knocking it. But
I mean, you know,
so we went to this thing. It was in the convention center.
I know that bitch.
Hang on, let me talk.
And she's not nice.
She wasn't nice.
RuPaul is not nice.
But we went to her event, and there was probably, seriously, and I've been to many, many conventions over my life. It was almost like a Comic-Con. There was so many people. I bet there was 30,000 people, you know, waiting to get in, and they had everybody there. And it was unbelievable, but I wouldn't do it again though because it's just not my thing. I would go for all the horror icons like I used to go all the time, you know, and go see. So the first time I met you, I have to tell you. So first of all, how does the Big Swag? So what is, because you're Big Swag everywhere. Your website's bigswag.com. So what does that actually mean?
So when I was coming up, you know, and I was probably 21, 22 years old, I was working a bar called Smalls in Hollywood, and my last name's Wagner. My friend used to call me Schwagner, one of the doormen I worked with. And when I got into pro wrestling, I tried to you know, I was doing at the time, I was the voice of Monster Garage, and I was called Big Swag. So I got into pro wrestling. I was the Big Swag. I was doing the voiceovers for Discovery Channel's Monster Garage. I tried to brand that name. And so a lot of folks that used to watch Monster Garage and hear my voice, or whenever at the occasion I would get to host, I was the Big Swag. So, and so then, yeah, so it just kind of stuck, and I still, you know, some people know me as Brett Wagner. Some people know me as the Swag. So it just kind of stuck.
So how tall are you?
I think it's terrific. And if people don't know what swag means, they can use their imagination. And when they say big swag, a lot of people can get horny.
Well, my wife may tell you different, but yeah, I was a true 6'5" until I got into my 50s. Now I'm about 6'4" 3/4. You shrink a little bit when you get with age.
I'm 6 foot now. I used to be 6'1½".
So all the times that we've met you, I have to like tell you.
Wait, I lost a ½ inch in height. Thank God, not where.
Okay. Yeah. So all the times that we've met you, I always just thought you were like the Sons of Anarchy guy for some reason, because a lot of times you'd be hanging out with that other guy that was on Sons of Anarchy, and I just automatically assumed you were like the Sons of Anarchy guy. And it wasn't until like a year after the first. Didn't
you know he was Leatherface?
No, until like a year after the first time we met you, I had no idea. I basically just thought you were like a Sons of Anarchy guy. And then after we met you, like the third time maybe, I was like, I'm gonna like look this guy up and just see what he's did. And then I saw all the stuff you did, and then I was like all pissed off that I didn't like know who you were. No, I talked to him, but I was just I would have had better questions and things to talk about if I would have known he had done all these amazing things.
You were Rusty Coons was our friend that was on the Sons of Anarchy, Big Rusty. I've been acting since I've been 21, 22 years old. So over the time as a big guy in Hollywood, you're going to I'm 56 now. So that's a long time. And so you will audition, and I've got over 110 credits, but that's because of the longevity that I've lasted in the business. And you'll eventually, you may not book something, but 2 years later you'll book that show. And so I've done a lot of stuff, and Disney, I love doing the kids stuff, but I've done everything. So episodes of Sons of Anarchy, I've done a lot of the horror movie stuff, which I wanted to do when I was a young guy. I got into acting because I wanted to do horror movies, and I've been blessed to do a few.
What was your favorite horror movie when you were younger?
Man, there's so many, but I got to go with George Romero's 1978 Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great movie.
We can go into, I love a lot of the Hammer films, and Christopher Lee as Dracula and Peter Cushing and all that stuff. And then, I even like a lot of cheesy horror flicks. There was one called Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things that I would sure love the remake just because of the title.
I was at a cocktail party in Beverly Hills when I lived there, and Christopher Lee was at that party with his wife.
Wow.
So he was very tall, by the way. He was about your height. And I cornered him, and I said to him, Christopher, I so love your Dracula movies. You do such a good job with them. He turned around and looked at me down and said, I do more than Dracula movies. And I said, excuse me, but that's what you're known for. I am not. And he went into Shakespearean theater in England. He gave me his whole friggin' resume about what his background was. And I said, that's wonderful. And his wife was standing there, and she came over to me and she said, don't listen to him. She said, no one does.
Well, Ron, sometimes you get known for a niche thing, and it's okay. Thank goodness there's enough to go around and enough movies. And I think a lot of guys, Angus Scrimm, who played the tall man in all the Phantasm movies, Angus was a classically trained, Shakespearean actor. But what is he known for? He's known for Phantasm. And I think a lot of people eventually they'll accept it and go, all right, yes, that's who I am. But it might take some time.
Christopher Lee should be grateful because he made a ton of money, a lot of money with Dracula. So he could have said,
and I think he's the great Dracula.
Yeah, and I think that's the only thing I ever saw him in that I liked him in. I've seen him in other work, and he was okay. He was nothing exciting or special. But when he did Dracula, he really was acting. And I thought his performance was wonderful. And I was being sincere in the compliment because I've seen so many Dracula people who never really did it. Christopher Lee, when the camera came in for the close-up and his eyes were on fire and he hissed, he was really frightening.
He was.
And I thought he was a wonderful actor to portray Dracula. I'm sorry that he was, but anyway, he got nicer as the evening went on because I was with Red Buttons and Red Buttons' wife, and Red Buttons, I don't think cared for Chris that much, and they sort of were going not back and forth, but there was a little bit of I'm more famous than you at this party kind of thing. You know how they get when you have two celebrities at a party?
Of course.
So
they were kind of fighting for my attention and other people's attention.
So wait, I want to go back. So first of all, let's brag a little bit for you. So you guys, first of all, you even though you kind of are a little bit pigeonholed that you've done a lot of big horror stuff, you've been in some really big films, you know, that have nothing to do with horror and television shows. I was super impressed with all of it. So here's some of the TV shows, you guys, that you might have seen the big swag in. The TV show Mom, that's a comedy. Sons of Anarchy. Hannah Montana with Miley Cyrus. The Mentalist, NCIS, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, The Bold and the Beautiful, which we have a million friends that are on that. Touch, Castle, and Weeds. And I know there's more of them. I just picked those out because I basically know people on all of them. And so it made it a lot of fun. And then some of the big movies, you guys, that he's been in that you wouldn't maybe even have expected. He was in. I didn't see this movie, and I don't know if it didn't do that well.
The title?
The Happy Time Murders with Melissa McCarthy, Elizabeth Banks, Joel McHale, and Maya Rudolph. How was that? Like, was that fun? Because that's like it's kind of like a Muppet. Like it's humans and Muppets together, right?
Yeah, I don't think legally we said Muppets, but it was it was fun, man. I mean, you know, I play a thug in prison beating up one of the puppets, and but you know, getting to see McCarthy and her husband there, who are, you know, just brilliant people. I mean, and I love comedy, and you know, people like that. You know, the first movie I ever did was Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams.
Oh, wow.
And getting to watch Robin Williams, you know, and I was a young guy, and getting to watch him on the set, you know, he would in between takes, he would start a joke. And Christopher Columbus, our director, was a very famous guy, great director. He would say, "Okay, let's shoot this scene," and Robin would stop the joke, and then when he said "cut," he would finish the joke. And you know, and I'm just like, "This is amazing." And here's so the last day I was shooting there, I decided to do a joke, and I started the joke, and everybody was like looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And then I finished the joke, and Robin Williams is like, "Stick to your day job, kid. Stick to the day job." And then everybody's laughing. And he was so nice that I reminded him of that years later. And he was like, "Oh, yeah." And he was such a nice guy. But I think the Melissa McCarthy's, the Robin Williams, their mind works so much faster than ours. They see things that before we see them. They see the humor in things, and it's always wonderful to sit on a set and watch. I got to work with John Malkovich, and watching his brain process stuff is amazing as well. So
I love it.
When you do stand-up comedy without a script, just what we call a clothesline, you have to be that way. I did stand-up for 64, how many years? Since I was 19. So
he's 84.
So
he'll be 84 next week.
I worked every nightclub, in drag as Jane Russell live. And I very rarely had a script. Whatever came in, I was kind of like them, and I know how it works. It's a given talent. It's something that you're born with. As a kid, I was that way, and I'm sure Robin was. But you can't learn it. You cannot learn to be spontaneous, quick, and very funny. As Jimmy will tell you, I'm always wisecracking and coming up with crap.
Actually, my favorite comedian is like that. Have you ever heard of Matt Rife?
Oh, of course.
I think Matt Rife is probably the funniest guy out there right now, and he is so funny, and he doesn't have it scripted because he interacts with the audience, and so it can't be scripted.
I like
Matt Rife, he's making a lot of money right now. He is, you know, it helps that he's a good-looking dude, because a lot of his humor with the audience has to do with his looks, but he's great. He's tremendous.
My picture is Jay, because you might think I'm a little nuts.
No, he won't. But
how come you look like Jay Russell?
We actually saw Matt Rife because he's an actor also, and we went to a movie premiere in a movie called Elevator with Eric Roberts and who's the model lady that we like.
Oh, I love
Eugenia Kuzmina,
Kuzmina,
and he was the son. He played their son.
I love Eugenia.
And
she's so beautiful.
and he was, he was really good in the movie, but I didn't really think that much about him. And then like a month later, I saw him do stand up, and I was like, oh my god, he's like the funniest thing
I did
I've ever
movies
seen.
in the early part of my life, but I never went anywhere because I was too ethnic looking. Black hair, I looked Puerto Rican or Greek or whatever, and they wanted Tab Hunter, Troy Donahue, and Jeffrey Hunter. They wanted your look, blue-eyed, blonde Americana. I don't
know if he'll be able to see this. Let's see. Hold
on. That's me when I impersonated Jane Russell.
Oh, wow.
So,
oh, no, he looked really good.
I looked just like her, and I became her friend, for many, many years, plus best friends. So
he even had boobs.
That's amazing. Yeah, wow. I mean, that dress, too.
This is him then with the actual
with the
Jane
real
Russell.
Jane Russell.
Wow.
You know who Jane Russell is, right?
Of course.
Of course he knows who Jane Russell is. But as I said, getting back to what you said, Robin Williams
brilliant.
Was a little insane, a little disturbed. I'm sorry what he did to himself. He deprived the world of joy and happiness by committing suicide. That was selfish. But I think he was very troubled. It's sad.
And he was one of the talents.
But I enjoyed his work so much.
So yeah, the thing about people, their minds move that fast. A lot of them entertainers, when they see the stuff that we don't get to see, I think a lot of them have issues with depression, and I don't know what it is, but a lot of people that are very creative and they can move that fast and their mind works that fast, I think there's just their mind's always moving and not stopping, and I think that's what happened with Robin and some of the other people.
The other person that I found who I knew, Debbie Reynolds. Quick, oh my God, was Debbie fast. Debbie, you could say to her, horse, and she, in 1 second, come up with 3 horse strokes. And I was stuck in a limo. I was honored to be in a limo with Joan Rivers here and Debbie Reynolds here, and me in the middle. It's a long story how I got there. And more fucks were flying and more jokes were going. And those two went after each other about old bag jokes and stuff. I mean, I said to Joan, I said, this should be filmed. She said, never. Never.
So hang on. I'm going to show a picture real quick. Go ahead. Throw it up, Juan. Juan's going to throw up a picture. There you go. There's Ron. That way you can actually see it. So that's Ron when he impersonated Jane
that was young. Good old young days. Look at that pretty girl.
Look at that dress. That dress.
Yeah. Thanks, Juan. That's just fun.
And I worked only straight clubs. I never worked. Well, that's not true. I worked the Townhouse because my friends owned it, and I did it as a favor. But I only worked straight clubs all over the country. And I was quite famous in New York. I remember seeing posters of myself on lampposts and stuff. And I thought, wow, that was big. Back then, for a drag queen, to get that kind of notoriety was amazing. Because
I imagine
we were thought of as degenerates, freaks, and nut jobs, crazy fags that want to be women. They didn't realize that we were artists and performers. I sang in my own voice, and I did stand-up. What am I talking about myself? It's your interview.
I know. So I want to go to him for a second. So you did another movie, and I'm tying this movie in because of the comedy thing, and it was called Fool's Paradise. A lot of big people: Charlie Day, Kate Beckinsale, Ken Jeong, Adrian Brody, Jason Bateman, Ray Liotta, Jason Sudeikis. And I want to know, because I think Ken Jeong is super funny now. I didn't even know him probably like who he was, back at that time. But was he funny then too? Because he's hilarious now.
Yeah, I got to watch him on the set work a little bit. Yeah, he's great. He's amazing. He's another guy that's very quick that can find the humor. And Charlie Day is just all my scenes were with Charlie Day, the couple that I had, and with John Malkovich. Charlie Day is such a great guy, and he's so funny that all those stars that you just mentioned, he produced this movie. He backed the movie with his own money, so he pulled in all those favors. And the movie is very funny. But yeah, anytime as an actor that you get to work with people that because now it for me, you know, I mean, I've been doing it a long time. So whenever I get excited when I get to go, you know, work with a John Malkovich or something. For me, I'm still like a kid in a candy store when I get to work with some of these people, or if I get to go sign at a convention and there's some horror movie celebrities there that I grew up watching or that I watch, or the, you know, directors. It's always a blessing, and I get really excited to do that. Like, you know, I'm going to be signing at Monsterpalooza in a week and a half, and I've never ever signed at Monsterpalooza in Pasadena, and I'm real excited to go there because I'm a fans of a lot of the people that are going to be there signing. So.
Who are some of the people?
Now, wait a minute.
Wait, I'm going to continue with that. Who are some of the people, like when you were growing up, that now you get to meet, that you get a kick out of? Who have been some of those people?
So the director of Phantasm, Don Coscarelli, and Beastmaster was another one of his movies. I got to be in a movie with that he directed called John Dies at the End, and you know, that's just, it was an incredible experience. You know, of course, meeting Robin Williams, Robert Patrick, the Terminator 2. So I know Robert really well now. We ride Harleys together here and there, and he's a great guy. And gosh, you know, I was big fans with Allison Janney. I'm a big fan of Allison Janney. And then when I got to do Mom, I was just like in awe.
See, that's,
because she's quick and she's a great actress. And
well, Phantasm for me. So Phantasm was the first one. Was one of the first movies that I got to go see, like, on my own without my parents. It was my first horror movie that I ever got to go see on my own. That one in Phantom of the Paradise, and I actually became really good friends with Michael Baldwin. I produced a movie with him called Brutal, and he was the star of it. And so Phantasm for me is like one of the greatest, and there's so many of them. You know, I don't know how many there are. There's probably like 7 of them or something now, but the first 2 were amazing.
I'm not really a connoisseur on horror movies, but is Leatherface what you're most famous for?
Well, because I mean, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2003, there's 2 of us that play Leatherface. I got cast as Leatherface, and you know, a couple of days in the shooting, I got heat stroke. So they had to bring another guy in. But I do the first kill in the movie, which is the most important kill in the movie. And yeah, it was, people in the horror movie convention, it's a big deal. Even if you played Leatherface for 3 minutes, it's, you know, there's very few guys.
Right? That's the Jessica Biel Leatherface.
That character, and I know that name out of everything else you mentioned. Now, when you go to signings, are you signing because of Leatherface? People are coming over, oh my God, you're Leatherface?
Yes, 100%. Well, I mean, I've done other stuff, the Crazies, John Dies at the End, you know, Buffy and Angel, you know, but yeah, people, the Leatherface thing it's a huge deal.
Because we've had on our show, how many?
We haven't had Leatherface.
No, how many of those other ones?
Oh, we've had everybody.
No, the one we've had about 5 or 6 guys.
We've had every Jason. We've had about 5 actors on our show. Every single person
that have played Jason.
And I'm pretty good friends with a lot of them.
Just a second, honey. I don't understand this venue. I know you're excited, but we have to eat. You know, we have to. You know, I'm not going to sit here playing with myself. Although that would be a good thing to do, because you know nothing else happens. But Jason 5. No, I forgot.
We've had Freddy. So go back.
I was going somewhere with it to you.
So how?
Many, wait a second. Oh. Would you ever like to play Jason, or do you like playing? Oh. You like killing parts. Or you like playing?
No, I mean, there's something about getting in makeup and doing the whole process and sitting in the chair and then getting out there and being something that you're not. I find it easier to be under a costume than having to sit there and try to cry on film or something. You know, playing a big bad guy is much easier when you look like me than it is opposed to having to play an older father to some kid and I got to cry on camera, you know, or something like that. That's a little tougher. And playing the brute, playing the bad guy, it just seems to be easier because when I grew up, that's the stuff I liked. That's the stuff that, you know, attracted me to being an actor.
I'm happy that I'm in a film where I'm not a mafia, I'm not a priest, and I'm not whoever else.
Cop.
I am a vampire. I have never, ever, in all the films I'm in, ever played anything other than who I am. So now that's going to be fun when they convert me into this interesting weird vampire, a gay vampire.
I can see you as a vampire. That'd be great.
I can't wait. And I have, it's a wonderful script. I'm teaching my daughter to be a vampire, and I take her to an enchanted land. It's a wonderful, wonderful script. So different from any vampire movie. And they're going to do me not like the traditional vampire. I'm going to be some sort of an interesting vampire. So that's fun. Would you like to play a vampire?
Oh man, would I like to play a vampire? I mean, yeah, there's some actors have been lucky enough. There's a couple guys who have played Leatherface. They played Jason. They played Michael Myers, and that's the very select few. But I love, I have a movie coming up. I'm going to be shooting in August called Clown Motel 3.
Ah!
Yeah, that's right.
He plays General Milan.
I'm General Milan.
That's right. So I get to play, some kind of leather-facey clown. I'm allowed to,
You're a
not
clown.
allowed to talk about, but I'm real excited about that. I mean, I love, as much as I love auditioning for, Marvel movies and hit TV shows and all this stuff, which, happens time to time. I love the independent film world. And some of these guys, the Joseph Kellys from Clown Motel and some of these guys, directors and writers, they're going to be the next big thing. And to be able to get in on some of these independent movies and work with these young directors and these actors is great, because you're working and I get to play something cool, which I've never played before, which is a little clowny. So I'm excited.
Maybe I get to kill you. I haven't gotten my
Well,
script.
I hope not.
Joe keeps making
The
my...
clowns don't die, remember?
No, they're...
In the first, Ron was in the second one.
No, yeah. The clowns come back as ghosts. So he's a ghost. He's not really there. He's a ghost clown.
We don't know that, though. We don't know what.
Yeah, I know that. Joe,
I'm not supposed to say that.
I'm not supposed to say that.
You're not supposed to say that stuff.
Joe hasn't given me my script yet. He said, I keep adding to it, Ron. Your part gets bigger and bigger. And I said, listen, we're shooting in 120 degrees of weather. Did you know that when we shoot in Nevada, we're going to be in the desert in August in 120 degrees of weather?
Yes.
Without air conditioning?
Well, I'm going to be at by the Lake Mead, so I'm going to be a little bit cooler. And if I get too hot, I'll just jump in the lake. So,
did you get your script?
I do not have a script yet.
No, nobody does.
So hey, we just got to plug it. So,
but he's a very good. I love Joe. Joe's like my buddy, and we spoke, and he said nobody's got a script yet. I'm still writing it. I said, okay. You have a cast of thousands, Joe. I'm grateful to say that I'm one of the actors who's being paid. I'm not paying to be in it. So I'm being paid a salary. I don't pay to get in movies. They pay me. And I make that very clear to everybody. No, I make that clear.
So we want to go back, though, because we had to cast a Clown Motel. We had a bunch of the producers and people on like 2 or 3 weeks ago when the Indiegogo campaign. So we should tell everybody, listen, you guys, Clown Motel, they've added all kinds of great people, including Brett and a whole bunch of other people, Jenna Jameson and the kid from the Poltergeist, Oliver
Robbins, Eileen Dietz.
They've added a bunch of people to it, you guys. So if you want to contribute to the Indiegogo campaign and be a part of it, you can go to Indiegogo.com and just type in Clown Motel 3 Ways to Hell, and it'll come up. They have all kinds of great perks, and please join, because we need to raise lots of money to make the whole thing go.
Right.
Yes.
I love it. It's going to be fun, so we'll get to actually
unfortunately, that's what some people have to do nowadays to do a film. Years ago, the studio owned the property, and all you did was go to work and know your lines and go to work. And they took care of all the finance. And today, with all the independent work, the quality of films are not very good, because a lot of these films are $150,000 films. And as much as the producers and the writers are talented, they don't have the funds to make their thoughts come forward. And this is what my objection is, that we have a lot of people who are not actors, who have never acted in their life, putting money in a film to be in the film. Now, I know I've spoken to a few actors that have been in that situation. I'm an actor for 50,000 years. I know how to do, you know how we know how to manipulate, we know how to do. These people stand there stage struck, and if you have to get something from them, they can't give it because they don't know how. So you look like a show off, or you look like you're grandstanding, or you look like shit. And this is my objection. And I say to these people, I would rather not be in a scene with someone who's not a professional actor. And you have to state all these things nowadays. Otherwise you're going to look like hell.
No, and that's the catch-22 with raising money, funding, crowdfunding. That sometimes you are going to get actors that they're not actors, they're fans, and they want to,
yes, that's right.
To come be in Clown Motel 3 and to work with me. There's a couple of scenes where you get there's one scene where I can talk about it. I'm going to kill 4 or 5 people. So. But usually, and I know some of the people have already got the perks and they're okay actors, but usually if it's something like that, I can work with someone real quick beforehand. And as long as they don't have a whole bunch of dialogue, you can usually work something. You can usually work something out with them and get it done. I mean, if you would have told me, if I would have known how big Terrifier 2 was going to be, and how big that movie would have been, and that was crowdfunded, and I had some people, I would have paid to be in that movie. And I don't want to pay to be in a movie. I'm an actor. I've been doing it like you, Ron, for a million years. But sometimes these films and the directors and the actors in it are so good that I just want to be a part of something like that. And I think a lot of people see this and they want to be a part of something special, whether it's the director, whether it's you have to understand, we're in the business to work, to get paid. Yes. Now, for Jimmy and I to drive into Hollywood from Palm Springs in our big truck, Mercedes thing that uses a gallon a minute, the gasoline is $100-something to go and come. Also, if we stay overnight, so I'm going to be out $300 to be in a movie and not get paid. It doesn't make sense. I understand 100%. I understand.
So I think that we have to get back to reality. And I told Joe Kelly, listen, the Mahal brothers I love. I love what the Mahal brothers do. If they had a $3 million budget, they'd knock the game out of the ballpark because they know how to do it. The Mahal brothers do
Actually, do you know who the Mahal brothers are?
Yeah, I can't get those guys to hire me at all for some reason, and I know them. Yeah, they just did Bikers vs. Werewolves.
Because you have
you would have been great for that.
No, you know why they're not hiring you? Because you have to pay them. They only take people that give them money.
No, that's not true.
They have Robert Lasardo and a few of my friends that I've worked with. They were in the movie.
They got Robert Lasardo. I mean, Robert is big ticker.
He is too. He's like Robert Lasardo.
Yeah.
So, Ron, put in a good word for me.
I will put in a good word for you.
Put in a good word for me.
No, I talk to them a lot because they like when I critique their movies because I'm honest about their movies. They have some really good stories. They did a couple of good movies for the genre. It wouldn't be feature film, but in the little world of little films. And the same thing with Joe Kelly. And I keep telling Joe, you got a good mind. You got to get a couple of $1 million. You got to go. Don't do this shit with this pay to play because it's going to be amateur. It's always going to look amateur. Your films are going to look amateur. People make fun of Clown Motel, When I say I'm in Clown Motel, they laugh. They go hysterical. I don't know why they think it's so funny. But 3, they said, but you've been in all of them. I said, yeah, but Joe's my friend. I helped Joe out.
See, I'm from a different, because I'm different. I don't come from the old Hollywood system. So right now, I think that, although wait, let me talk.
We have to bring back.
I know, but you're not going to bring it back.
Wait a second. We have to bring back angels, backers, investors.
I know, but there aren't any.
There are. The world is full of investors. They're just afraid. They're not being handled properly. Years ago, they knew how to handle an investor. The deck was really good. the pitcher was fabulous because they pitched it and to get the investor. Today, they don't know how to do it. The decks look like shit.
No, my decks look
No, we're not
great.
talking about your decks.
I know, but I can't find
I'm talking about other decks that I've seen. I mean, really. And I'm talking about how they approach an investor. You don't create the movie to the investor. I have a movie, so-and-so is in it, so-and-so is in it. It's about a vampire who falls in love with Frankenstein. That's it. That's not how you get money. You got to say the vampire is gay. He's crazy. He's got a Frankenstein. He's Jewish. He made a bar mitzvah. You got to make a. You got to create.
The problem with getting films funded now, and I've worked on a lot of them.
I want to hear his opinion.
I know. I'm going to tell him what all the investors. First of all, the first thing they ask is who's in it. Obviously, I'm sure you know that. That's why a lot of people go to you, because they want you in their films. So they can try and get funding. But the second part of the problem is with streaming. People are not getting paid back. The streaming services, are taking all the money, and the investors are getting very difficult. So the system
system stinks. We've got to change.
I think the floodgates have been open, and I don't think they're going to shut. I don't think it's. I mean, with the Tubies, with Philo, and all these new platforms, they need content. So whether the content is good, or it's cheesy, or it's terrible, they're still taking the content. They're still, Amazon Prime and all this, they take movies that aren't the greatest, but it's still giving that film, that director and that producer, it's giving them an avenue. Now, whether or not they get better or they just keep putting out some schlock, I mean, it's that they're giving it out, and it happens. And I've been in some schlocky movies. I mean, I've been in some I've been in a couple $100 million movies that were so bad that I was like, ee. But and I've been in some independent movies that cost $150,000 and they're great. I mean, I have two movies, Desert Fiends and Skate to Hell, which I shot Desert Fiends last year and Skate to Hell, and they're crowdfunded movies. But I think they got some big people in them, and I think. I think that these people, they're either going to get better or they'll disappear, because eventually someone's not going to buy that crappy movie or not going to watch it. But I think the floodgates have been open, and I don't know if it's ever going to go back to where we just have studios or someone's going to say, hey, Jimmy, let me read your script. Great. Here's, $800,000. Let's shoot it. Or here's $2 million. So. Uh-oh. What happened? I'm by myself now. Well, folks.
Looks like Jimmy and Ron just dropped out, so that we're going to take a music break while they come back.
Oh, okay. Is that Juan?
Yes, sir.
How are you, buddy? Well, we could chat. Let's go. What are we chatting about, Juan, while we're waiting for those guys? Where are you? Are you in Palm Springs or are you somewhere else?
I am actually in South Florida.
South Florida. See, I think the people would find that interesting. What part of South Florida are you in?
I am in Wellington right now.
Oh, Wellington. And what kind of movies do you like?
I don't know. I'm more of an action sci-fi kind of guy.
Oh, have you seen anything lately that you like, or is there anything coming out that you're interested in?
Not really. I mean, I'm still waiting for season 4 of Dark Matter.
Oh, good show. Great.
Right.
So far, we're on the same page. I like, the best series that I've watched in the last couple of years, obviously, I loved Ozark. Ozark was so good, and I auditioned for so many parts, and I never got anything on Ozark. But I know they're bringing that back for a 4th season. So, I mean, they're going to do another season with that the whole cast has agreed to do, which is awesome.
Nice. All right, so we have Jimmy and Ron that just came back.
Hey, you guys, I don't know what happened. Sorry, but I'm glad you kept talking. I have no idea what you said. But I'm happy you kept talking because I don't know. It said we lost our internet, even though
I was interviewing Juan.
Good.
Even though you couldn't see him. Yes.
Juan's fabulous.
Who Juan?
Juan.
Oh, Juan, our engineer.
He's fabulous.
South Florida. Yes, we were chatting a little bit about that. Yeah, yeah, we were talking about independent filmmaking. Yes, a lot of this stuff is just not that good. And
my thing again is the investors. I know they're out there because we watch a movie every night, Jimmy, after dinner.
We watch a lot of Tubi, as a matter of fact.
I love Tubi.
7 nights a week after dinner, we watch a movie every night. And I say to Jimmy, that movie got funded. That movie got funded. That movie's a piece of shit. Look at the actors, they stink. Look at the camera work, it's horrible. Look at I critique everything. Got funded, Jim. It got funded. He looks it up. It got 14 million. It got 23 million. It got 6 million. It got 4 million. So I see if everything on Tubi is getting funded, why isn't Joe Kelly getting funded? You know why? Because Joe Kelly doesn't know how to go after the money. Everybody else does. Okay? We have guests on our show who have a movie and they're funded. And they got funded. So now we're going to say, oh, so the producers or the writers, directors, whoever they are, say, oh, blame it on the investors. Because that's what Renee Taylor told me. Renee Taylor, because I'm working with her in a movie, said to me, Ron, don't buy it. It's all bullshit. There's plenty of money out there. She said the people that say I can't find funding is because they don't know how.
And you may be right, and you may be 100% right, and they don't know. I mean, I have friends. I have 2 friends that are billionaires, right? I've never decided to approach them and say, I have a script. You know, it's going to cost $3 to $4 million to shoot. But there's money out there, and you are 100% that there's money out there. I think guys like Joe Kelly are doing their dues right now. They're putting in the work, and I think a Joe Kelly. I think. There might not be a Clown Motel 4, but I think that he's putting in the work now so that somebody will eventually, or he's going to get that right investor, the Sean C. Phillips of the world. They're going to get that right investor, and they're going to be able to, someone's going to say, here's 500 grand. Do you know how many movies I could shoot with 500 grand? I mean, I could probably shoot 6 with 500 grand.
Well, what kind of CGI? What kind of actors? It's the budget that stinks. And all these actors that are asking $3 and $4 million. I mean, Jimmy, we're trying to cast my movie, which is called what is it called?
The Cursed Gift of Magic.
The Cursed Gift of Magic, where Renee Taylor plays a Jewish bookie, and I'm an Italian mafioso, 1943, and we're married, and we go out to kill the Nazis. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, but you're not going to sell it. You know why? All the anti-Semitism that's going on. Backers are going to say, right now, your film, nobody's going to go see it because everybody hates Jews. And this is a pro-Jewish movie. It makes her her like a Wonder Woman. This old Jewish lady becomes a star. It's all pro-Jew, and it's for Jewish people. So I said to Jimmy, maybe we should approach the synagogues and tell the synagogues. My movie shows people how good Jewish people are because it shows the Jewish life. My father was Jewish, so I know what I'm talking about. What it was like when you were Hamisher living in the house with the aunts and the uncles and eating back in the Second World War. We were wonderful people. The people today are not the people they were back in 1943.
Yeah,
you're gonna need some Germans and Nazis, so I'm ready.
Yes, there you go.
We're trying to get Chris Walken to play the head of the Nazi party. But to get Chris Walken, it's an impossibility because his manager is not returning Jimmy's calls. Why? Because Jimmy's not giving a money offer. If Jimmy would say we're going to give him $20 million, Chris Walken will come running in my lawn in my house to tell me personally he'll be in the movie.
Naked. Let's not forget he'd probably do it naked as well for $20 million.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean? It's really difficult because you have
So wait, I want to hear. So what has your experience? You work on so many films. I mean, by the way, too, congratulations, because Skate to Hell, Sean Phillips. You know, every movie he makes gets better, and Skate to Hell has some cast.
Skate to Hell's got it. Yeah, I mean it's
Spencer Breslin, Robert Carradine, Jenna Jameson, Eric Roberts, Lisa Wilcox, Douglas Tate, Oliver Robbins, Eileen Dietz, Scott Schwartz, Todd Bridges, Robert Lasardo. I mean, that's some cast actually for an indie, low budget film.
Yeah, he is definitely getting better at what he does, and I think with Desert Fiends, and we're going to do a Desert Fiends 2, and a Skate to Hell, he probably could do a sequel to this. I mean, he's stepping up. Yes. He's raising more money, and he's getting better actors, and he keeps getting better actors, and he's doing really well. And he works with a really good producer, Nicole Vegas.
Yeah, she's been on the show.
So she's learning the business as well, and I don't mind working for these guys. It's simple. They don't. Some of these guys they trust you. Sean C. Phillips trusts me when I'm on the set, and he trusts that, and he lets me, maybe do some stuff that doesn't say in the script or the character. And a guy like that is great. When a director trusts you to do your job, and you come prepared to do your job, it's a wonderful thing. That's why Clint Eastwood worked with the same guys over and over and over again. He trusts them. He knew they knew what they're doing on a set. And for you young actors that may be watching, you should, if you do get into some movies, you should watch and see how some of the people carry themselves on a set or how they prepare for a scene. Because if you get in there and you do it, and the director's like, great, and it's an awesome thing.
In film, you can play, you can improvise, you can television. Forget about it. They want it
different, of course.
Oh, you can't do anything off. If they say you got to do even if you don't like you can't say to the director, "Can I do ooh?" No, you have to do
Yes.
And you cannot drop a line or drop. That's why I hate television. I did television. I hated it. Oh, I never went back. I did about Charlie's Angels and McMillan. I did a couple, and I never went back. Never went back. I hate television.
So hang on, we got 8 minutes left, and I want to go over some stuff.
Play. You can.
All right, what do you got for me, Jimmy?
First, I want to give another big prop that you were in Machine Gun Preacher, which that's some cast also.
So let me tell you this. So Christina Elise McCarthy, who's a great actress and was on Child's Play 2, and at the time we were real good friends, and she got me an audition for that movie with the casting people in Michigan, because that's where they shot a lot of it. And I'm a biker anyway, so I was on my bike. We shot the scene. They sent it to him, and the director was like, "That guy's such a believable biker." Well, yeah, because I am a biker. So I got the part. I was shooting my TV show, which was called Pastime, which was a drag racing show. And I remember I would finish on Sunday, and I had to fly to Detroit Monday morning because we were going to shoot with Gerard Butler, for God's sakes. I mean, who wouldn't want to shoot with Gerard Butler? And I lost my voice. So for a day and a half, I'm drinking honey and tea, and I never even want to see honey again. And we got in there, and I got to shoot my scenes with Gerard Butler. My voice was still wacky, but we got it done. And then we went in for ADR, and I had to match that raspy voice that I had, which was tough. So we go to I go to the red carpet premiere. That's when I just first started dating my wife. My wife now, Dee Dee Bigelow, or Dee Dee Wagner now, and Gerard. I see Gerard on the red carpet, and he comes over, and he's like, when I met him on the set, he said, "Call me Jerry. No one calls me Gerard." So I said, "How you doing, Jerry? This is my wife." And he goes, "Hey, listen, I hate to tell you, the movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we had to get it down to like 2 hours and 15 minutes, so we had to cut your scenes out."
Oh, wow.
But I thought it was so cool that a man of his, the lead actor of the movie, would come over and was nice enough to tell me before we walked in there that your scenes got cut. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even care about that, but he was nice enough to come tell me before we walked in. And I had to explain to my wife, that's where my scene was supposed to be.
That's okay though. At least you got to work with him. I mean, it's still on your resume. It's a memory you'll never forget. He's such a
never. Yeah, that was great. Great guy.
How was Michelle Monaghan? Because she's one of my favorite actresses.
I mean, she's a great actress. I did get to watch her work a little bit, a couple days, and I mean, she's a professional out there. And there's something about working. You know, I did the movie The Crazies, and Timothy Oliphant.
Great guy.
People would say, what is he really fun on the set? And I said, oh, he's all business on the set. And people take that the wrong way. I'm like, listen, he's a good actor, and he was professional on the set. When I saw him at the red carpet for The Crazies, he came over and shook my hand and was smiling. He's like, hey man, our stuff turned out really good, didn't it? Different guy, you know, but on the set he was very professional, and I can respect that. And yeah, he's another guy. It's just a tremendous actor and a fun guy.
We had Lynn Lowry on a couple of weeks ago, and she was in the original one. Plus, she had a cameo. So here's the question I like to ask everybody: bucket list. First of all, if you could have been in any movie that's ever been made in history, what movie would you like to have been in? And then the second half of the question is male and female actor that you would like to work with that you have not had an opportunity to work with yet.
Oh, wow. You put me on the spot here. Gosh, you know, I'll tell you, you know, I'm a guy that loves the 70s. I think the movies in the late 60s and in the 70s were so much better than what we have today.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's where movie star comes from, right? Movie stars came out of that period. That's The Outlaw Josie Wales is one of my favorite movies with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
I would have died to have been in that movie and been playing one of those characters. Clint Eastwood, I mean, you know, I don't know how many more years we're going to have him left, but he still keeps. I would really love to work with Clint Eastwood, and even if it's just for a couple of lines for him to direct me. And I want to work with Allison Janney again. She was so nice, and my wife came down the night that we had the live audience, and they let her come on the set. And Allison always remembers my wife, so whenever she's at a function and she sees my wife, she goes and says hello. And to me, that's somebody that she's a working girl, and she can remember that is great. So I'd love to work with her again.
She's actually in that Apple TV show right now. We watched it all. That takes place in Palm Beach. I forgot the name of that show, but she's the she's one of the main stars of it, and it was really interesting. It was a good. I mean, it was a little weird at the end, but it was good.
Yeah, and you know, I think they're going to do another season of Ozark. I think the whole cast has signed off to do that. And boy, would I love to be on Ozark.
Yeah, that would be a good one. That's like a given. So, all right, so you guys, this is Brett Wagner. You can check out his website. It's bigschwag.com. He's on Instagram as the Big Schwag. I think, where do you usually post all your like signing dates and stuff? Is that mostly on Instagram?
Facebook and Instagram. Brett Wagner on Facebook, the Lost Leatherface on Facebook, and I mean at Instagram. I'm one of the smart guys, so I click that little switch. So if I post on Facebook, it immediately goes to Instagram and vice versa. So
that's good.
I do appearances. Monsterpalooza coming up the end of June. I mean, not the end of June, the beginning of June. So in a week and a half, we'll be at Monsterpalooza in Pasadena. And then 7th, 8th, and 9th, I'm going to be out there with Bob Elmore, who was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Leatherface, and Robert Patrick, my buddy. We're going to be at Niagara Falls Comic-Con up there in Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. And then at the ending...
I love him to death. He's
so good. And then the ending of June, we're going to be at Crypticon, Kansas City, signing there. So, yes, I mean, right now, it starts the big push for horror sci-fi conventions until obviously at the end of October. So
all right, so Brett, thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you soon, and we'll see you on Clown Motel 3.
Yeah, I'll see you on the set.
I will see you on the set, buddy.
Yeah, we will.
Don't forget me.
I'm gonna get you a ghost and kill you. I know.
Don't you touch? Hey, Ron, don't touch my ghost.
No, I understand that I have all my men, and the men, a lot of them, And we have a secret on how to get rid of ghosts. Of course, I will not divulge that secret. You have to watch the movie to see.
There you go. All right, so we'll see you soon. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Good luck at all the conventions, and thanks so much for coming on the show.
You've been a fine guest. Thank you.
I appreciate you both. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yay, yay, yay. I really like him a lot. He's just a cool guy, and so it's a lot of fun. So we're going to play a quick music video. Hopefully we don't get cut off for playing this video, but this is Jam Wayne, No Problem. This guy is cool because he's like a country hip-hop artist, and he looks like he's all bearded, like he's a wild guy, but he actually works in nuclear bombs or something. So he's very interesting. So this is the name of the song, No Problem. The name of the artist is Jam Wayne. I'm trying to get him for a movie I'm doing, and then we'll be back with Daisy Jopling.
Okay, I ain't even gon' flex this Sunday. I ain't even up next, but one day you gon' put this tape in, hit the replay, gon' vibe and you ride, chill to the music, feeling what I'm putting inside, dealing with your vulnerable side. This go hard and I ain't even try. Close your eye, just vibe with me. Do or die for life, really. When I ride and he drive, in me. Great spirit is my Siri. Navigate through the ways of the land. Demonstrate when the kneel understand. Give me grace when I don't understand which way is the best. No, God's got a plan. Throughout my life, my hands stay dirty. Down the ride when it's necessary. Walk the line, I got no worries. Take my time, I'm in no hurry. Brothers die, so my eyes blurry. Another ride to the cemetery. Live your life, you know death coming. But a vapor, we gone, homie. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want, you don't really want no problem. All till I see that, till I drop down 6 feet deep in the casket, till my last breath and I breathe that. Stand on the front line, called into action, keep my mind free, no relapse. Trying to stay clean, but the mud gon' stick. Suds in the fifth, duds on the whip, 1, 2, 5, 6, so I'm curling the silk with a pearl on the hill. Hand trigger flicker on big, piece with the wood on the grill. Back in a bit, about to be encouraged when I slip out, put the Hellcat on drill. Smoke in the spill, get thrown rap on the seat, you gon' sit with a pack on your still. Been through hell, and I'll be damned if I climb out just so I can jump back in. Back tie spin when I mash out, looking for the cash out. Red zone, go for the win. Ride for my friend, most of them gone so long in the grave, but they locked in the pen. Smoke in the wind, raise up a toast to the ones that be locked down, do in a bed. Know the world ain't shit. Lord heard every prayer you lift up down there in cell block 6. As the world on tilt, everybody Leroy left. Had to put the South on drill. About this here, yeah. Bobbing with the head, now I'm mobbing in the streets I live. Let me make it clear. With the thoroughbreds in the country, blue collar tried and true. And if it comes down to it, and you cross that line in the red, white, and blue, boy, you better salute. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want, you don't really want no problem.
Yay, Daisy! All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome you to our show with Ron Russell, classical rock violinist. Daisy Jopling, yay, we're so happy to see you. You look beautiful. Oh, my gosh.
Thank you. You know, Ron, I will never forget what you said to me in our first interview.
Which was?
Daisy, I have not ever been wrong about my predictions about artists, and you are going to have a career like kind of like Yanni, you know, and it was amazing. Because
I said that.
Yes.
I will not forget that.
Good.
Well, don't, because it's a great compliment and you deserve it. You know, you earned that compliment. It wasn't a smoke up your ass compliment. It was a real one. I love your work. I love it. I mean,
thank you guys. I hope you're going to come to New York at some point.
Yes,
no, I'm sorry we never got to Egypt. You know, I'm still dying to go to Egypt. You went to Egypt and you played in the pyramids, and I'm so like I wish I was there. That would have been really a thrill. My dog.
She's going again. She's going to do that again one day, though, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking we're working out the right date so people, especially people from here, can have time to really lead up to that. But right now, I was wondering about November this year, but to give people really time, I think we're looking at November 2025 for an amazing concert. I'm just going to turn my phone off.
How did you do on that concert? What was the press?
Okay, so did you say what was the press? Because we got amazing press. I mean, amazing press.
What they say?
So I mean, that's a good point. I should have it like memorized. But it was, you know, I don't even. I mean, I remember crying when I saw some of the reviews because they were so amazing. I guess they talked about it as being this evening that I'm not going to be able to, because I can't remember. I mean, it was a couple of years ago, that, you know, brought people together. We did have cultures. I mean, we had refugees performing with different cultures kind of around the Egyptian area. And then, of course, me and all these kind of Egyptian megastars. So I think it was just talking about the fact that these musicians came together and produced something so uplifting. You know, it was, everybody said it was a night never to forget. And apparently it was kind of interesting. There are a lot of concerts. I mean, not like mega regularly. It's still a big thing to have a concert at the pyramids, but there happened. But in this particular stage where there was actually a stage already, because normally, you know, you would think there are already like erected stages around the pyramids, right? Or one main one or something. No, there are something like seven, if I remember rightly, bits of gravel, right, where you can put a stage and you pay $30,000-$40,000 whatever to get that bit of gravel. But it's
$40,000 for a stage?
Yeah, but you know, it is next to the pyramid. So anyway, and then you have to bring everything: your stage, your lights, your sound, your everything you want. The chairs, you know, actually I think some of them have chairs, but anyway,
chairs.
We found a place where they already have a stage. We still had to bring the whole lighting rig and you know, sound and everything, but this particular place was used a lot for events, but they'd never had a concert there. And when my producer was like saying, hey, we're not going to just have a concert, we're going to have an internationally renowned violinist, they'd never had something like this. And she said right until the last day, like there were moments when she thought they're just going to cancel or something. You know, they didn't really realize we're going to bring a mega amazing major concert with a violinist, you know, to this stage. So it was pretty cool. And I met later people who were staying the night in hotels looking onto the pyramids, and they could all hear the concert. So literally, after the concert, I went on a cruise with my fans who came to Egypt, and then I came back and I stayed for 1 or maybe 2 nights in one of these hotels that was over the pyramids. And the guys were like, we know you. We watched your concert. It was unbelievable, and it was amazing. You know,
he really wants to go.
I'm not serve the people who came. Like everybody around could hear it, and they were like a violinist. They were blown away. And I played some famous Egyptian songs that, in their mind, they're like, we didn't even think a violinist could do this, let alone one who's British living in the US.
Oh, wait a minute, hang on, Daisy. Where can I see this? You must have film.
Yeah, that's something. So, Jimmy, I just saw you're going to play. Okay, so
I got 2 of them, so we can play. Is one of those in Egypt?
Yeah, so both of the ones, you know, I think last time, and if I didn't, we'll do it next time. Next interview, I'm already planned the next one. But we'd, of course, made a video of that concert. But what happened was a couple of months later, which is the videos you've got now. So I had 16 fans who did fly all the way to Egypt to come to that concert, but so many weren't able to come. And basically they persuaded me to kind of recreate it here in New York. And that's what you're just about to watch. Oh, so okay. I hired like the best musicians from, it was actually 3 different states around here that I had to go to: Pennsylvania, the whole of New York State, like the whole tri-state area, you know, Staten Island. People came from all over. And I can't remember the last one, maybe New Jersey, because there are certain pockets where there's like quite a lot of Middle Eastern, you know, people, different nationalities, but there's not that many Middle Eastern really world-class musicians here. I guess just because there aren't that many Middle Eastern concerts that happen here.
Right. You know where you should have gone? to Astoria, Queens, all mid Eastern people.
There are some there. There's a ton in New Jersey and different places in Brooklyn. So we got the best of the best. I thought you were going to say LA, because actually there's a lot, interestingly, like if they come, well, this is from my small research that, I was trying to find all these musicians. People like, you should be in LA because there's tons of amazing Middle Eastern musicians there. Anyway, so that's what I thought you were going to say.
Real quick, say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Who's there? Hey.
And then, so if we were going to play, which one of these videos do you like better? We have Global Fest Primordial or second video, Global Fest Fatma.
Oh my God. Do I have to choose then?
Yeah, choose one.
Okay, so I'm going to choose Fatma. Okay, and I haven't even had the audio yet because this is like, finished this morning, and the audio I haven't listened to, so hopefully it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
So hopefully it's going to be good, and if it's not, I'll let you know, Juan.
So this song,
tell us what it is and then introduce it and we'll play it for everybody.
So this song was written by an Egyptian composer. He's an absolute idol in Egypt. Like, not one Egyptian does not know and love Omar Khairat. It's spelled Khairat. And this is one of his most famous pieces that we arranged and we played here in New York. So on this recording, you've got like musicians. It touches my heart because there is, for example, an incredible Palestinian musician called Firas Traik, if I've said that right. And then also an Israeli musician, Michael Feigenbaum. There are musicians from Ukraine, from Russia, like music brings people together, all playing this stunning music together. So this particular
I'm excited. I want to hear it. Quiet.
Yeah, this song is called Fatma. Bring it on.
I've been waiting like 3 hours for this.
All right, take it away, Juan.
Let's hear it.
They love it. So can you tell us real quick before Ron talks? They want to know who is the what's the name of the guy who did the song, the music again?
Omar, so Omar, and then Khairat is his last name, Khairat. And he is a legendary Egyptian composer. And I actually, so I played this piece as well at the pyramids. And he, you know, we had to ask his permission. So he watched it. He wasn't able to come to the concert, but he watched, we did a live stream. He watched the live stream the next day. And he wrote a text personally to me. Well, he asked his manager to send it to me, where he said, "Dear Daisy, I really enjoyed watching your performance of my music. You are a remarkable musician and you are welcome in Egypt anytime."
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like Billy Joel saying that. I'm, you know, it's just, he's such an icon in Egypt. And his music is so beautiful. It makes me nearly cry.
Okay, here we go. First impression I got was, I said, oh my God, this is so wonderful. It should be the background of a movie. Could that be a movie score? Boy, could that be a wonderful movie. Then, of course, we got to you. And I said to Jimmy, she's just an incredible violinist. I mean, nobody bangs it like, I mean, I could listen to you forever.
I really appreciate it. Ron, so
if I was your neighbor, I'd make a hole in the wall so I could hear you play.
Okay. I have to tell you some funny stories. First of all,
Daisy, no bullshit. You really, I feel like when you play the violin and I look at you and I feel what you feel every note. You feel every little squeak. I see the passion, and that's why the music is so beautiful. You are probably one of our greatest violinists in the world. I've got to say it. I love your stuff. I truly do love your stuff. Swear on my kid. Swear on my dogs. I love. I could listen, and I love Mideastern music because when I was young, my brother-in-law, who was Turkish, used to play an album called Port Said, and the music was Port Said da 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 Port Said da 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 da, and I used to dance to that. I love. I guess because I was once an Egyptian in past lives. I believe that I was an Egyptian.
I believe it too.
And I just love the whole culture. I love the decor. I do deco. Our house is all Art Deco. You are an experience. You are somebody.
He didn't know you were coming on because he didn't see the promo.
No,
and
but
our first guest was someone who I'm a big fan of, and then I said when I announced it on the show that you were going to be the second guest, he lit all up and he was all
yeah.
Thank you.
My daughter's here. She said
that was Daisy.
That's
wow.
She plays the violin.
Daisy is a violinist.
She played in Egypt.
And she played at the pyramids in Egypt.
I could hear it in the kitchen. It was fabulous.
Isn't it fabulous?
You can hear it in the kitchen.
I brought her in the kitchen. She said it's fabulous.
So I have to tell you a couple of things.
She wants to tell you something.
I want to tell her something. Jimmy and I, we're on our way to New York eventually, probably June. How about lunch? Are we on for lunch?
1,000%.
I have to hug you.
Thanks,
Because you do it.
We should tell everybody too, and we really have time. We can play the other video.
Can people buy your music?
Yes.
Yeah. How did they buy your music?
Go to iTunes.
Yeah, actually, Jimmy's been releasing some new songs recently of mine. Well, they are live recordings. I'm actually recording a whole new album, which won't be released until January 2025, January 10th, 2025. But so what I'm releasing now are live recordings of concerts I've played over the last year, a couple of years.
One of them that we just released like 2 weeks ago, you guys, the single is called Indian Jesus Live. And
I don't have it.
We have another song. What was the song we released before? Something in E minor? I forgot.
Yeah, well, that was a really fun. It was on Day, and it was an Irish jig.
Yes,
and it's Morrison's jig. So it's just like a traditional Irish tune. I just love playing music from around the world. So yeah.
I have Ani albums, but his music is great. I love his music.
Who are you talking about? Yanni. Okay.
Yanni's music is great, but Yanni has all instruments. Okay, your music is better than his because it concentrates on the violin, and the violin is talking to me. I heard the violin speaking as you were playing. And I was creating a movie. It was like I was there with you. It's amazing what music does to people.
It is so amazing.
It does through the cobra. A cobra does from the flute.
I have to tell you.
Right now I'm euphoric. Seriously. After the show, I want to go play your music. I'm going to play it.
I'm so happy. So, a couple of things. First of all, that music, that song that we just listened to was written for a famous Egyptian movie called Fatima. So it's like named after. Okay. And this is kind of a really beautiful movie because it's about somebody who just, born into a very difficult, I think, underserved, poor family and overcomes all of these problems. So it's kind of very uplifting, beautiful movie. So I think the song's like that too. And then you mentioned about my neighbors, because I actually live in an apartment building and all my neighbors, like they open their doors when I practice so they can literally, and their windows, like, they complain when I go away. They're like, you were away on tour for 3 weeks. We missed you so much. I mean, my violin playing, they miss me as well. But so yeah, it is very cool. It's very cool.
Years ago, about 30 years ago, we used to go, I forgot what building, but there was a building in New York where they served little coffee and pastries and concert. And it was usually violin and, string music. I wish that was still happening because you certainly would play there. I forgot what it was. I shouldn't have even brought it up. But
so
I happen to love the violin very much.
If you guys want to hear, Daisy's going to have a show in July. It's July 12th through 14th at the Stern Cornish Estate at Northgate. It's Hudson Highland State Park, Cold Spring, New York. And you can go to daisyjoplingfoundation.org to find out about it. And then her website is daisyjopling.com, and her Instagram is Daisy Jopling. And we're trying to build her social media, so please follow her, listen. And we have time if you want to play the other song for everybody, because that way it'll get a lot of exposure.
Definitely.
We are tentatively, if we don't have more bullshit happening here, we work all the time, coming into New York in June. So wouldn't it be nice if we timed it when you're playing somewhere?
In July. She's playing in July.
Oh, you're playing in July. Okay.
We'll see. So tell us about this first one, Global Fest Primordial, and we'll play it real quick.
Okay, so basically, the reason why it says Global Fest, just to put some good vibes out there, Global Fest is an amazing concert that happens, well, every year. In 2025, it's going to be January 12th at Lincoln Center. I believe because they have 10 groups that they call world music. I mean, you know, world music is kind of a crazy word in a way because we're all part of the world. So all our music is in a way world music. But what we in the States and I guess the Western world call world music is anything that's coming from a very different musical culture than ours. So for example, Indian music, for example, Middle Eastern music, maybe anything Latin American, African, all of these are considered world music. So they've maybe speaking in a different language, you know. Anyway, so I'm applying, and you have to apply to be like part of this concert. So I'm applying using these videos to be able to play at Lincoln Center January 12th, 2025. So let's put some good vibes out there for that.
Well, I think that they should beg you.
Well, let's see. Hopefully they're going to love it. That's why they all say Global Fest on them.
You have played at Lincoln Center before, though, right? You played at Awakening. Your Awakening.
I have. Yes, which was amazing.
How come I never heard of you? Years ago, I'm talking about, because when I lived in New York.
No, when you lived in New York, she was like, it's still a baby.
I don't think you were born. Maybe you weren't born yet. That's probably why. You were learning to play the violin. No, but when I lived in New York, I went to everything.
Wow, did you run?
I miss it. You know, living in Palm Springs, I became a vegetable. Because when I lived in New York, I went to theater, opera, concerts. I filled my head with so much wonderful stuff. I remember listening to opera when, what the hell was her name? Bubbles. You know who Bubbles was? One of the greatest opera singers of our day.
I was going to say Michael Jackson.
And her nickname was Bubbles. Bubbles.
Anyway, we're going to play the song.
So wait, I was paying her a compliment. I have heard some of the greatest performers back then. And now I have you as one of the greatest performers.
It's great. So
I love your stuff.
So introduce it
I'm not
for
being
us.
Phony. And everybody out there, don't say, "Oh, Ron's being so sweet."
No, he's not. He doesn't say that about hardly anybody.
No, there's a lot of honey. There's a lot of bullshit out there that I can't stand. This rap crap, all that horrible junk. You know, talent. Listen, you know how long it takes to play a violin like that? Do you know how many hours? How many hours?
I don't, but she does.
No, you know. I know. Because I know other people that play a violin, and they sometimes just don't get it. No matter how hard they work at it, the brain and the hand, the fingers just don't coordinate. She is so coordinated. Her lips move like this. Okay. And I see her fingers hitting the notes. Her lips are telling the fingers what note to play.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, I know. I notice everything. Watch your video. Watch your mouth. No, when you hit a high, your mouth opens. When you go to a low, your mouth goes low. You actually are singing with that violin.
Yes, I am.
Silently.
So introduce the video. Let's play it quick. We have like 11 minutes and the video's like 5, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Yeah, okay. So I mentioned to you that I hired these world-class Middle Eastern musicians from around this whole area. So kind of New York State and nearby. And this video is a piece that I wrote. It's called Primordial, but it's like arranged with all these amazing Middle Eastern musicians playing their percussion and everything in there. And there's two really typical Middle Eastern instruments that we have kind of versions of, but a bit different. One is like that sitting down. It's like a zither in a way. It's called a kanun, Q-A-N-U-N. And it's going to open with this guy, Faraz Traik, who's from Palestine, who's like one of the best, I mean, in the world. He's amazing at this kanun. He plays a solo, which is improvised, and then it goes into Primordial, and then there's also this amazing bamboo flute, which is just like, instead of playing it like this, you play it like straight, you know, down ahead of you, and that is played by Gideon Forbes. There's going to be a solo from him as well. So Primordial, let's take it away.
Yay. Okay, let's go.
Yay!
Now, you wrote that.
I did.
How the hell do you write everybody's piece? How do you do that? I often wonder. Each musician, you write what that musician has to do.
Yeah, The way I do it, though, is I work with an arranger, like a musical arranger, and I'll write the main, like the form of the piece, like all the different, in that case, there were quite a lot of different melodies going on at the same time, you know, like kind of I'll write down most of the stuff and I'll make maybe an audio recording, and then I'll send it to the arranger and I'll tell him, this is what I want. I want this. I want the flute to play this, or the ney. In that case, it was an Egyptian flute. I want this. I want, you know, I tell him everything, and he does it and he sends it back to me, and I'm like, I love it, or actually I need to change this, and you know, we work together. So there are some composers, but I'm not one of them, who writes, as you said, every single note for every instrument, but I pretty much direct the arranger to do that, but I don't actually do it.
Now, what made you think that you could put a violin to this sort of music?
You know,
it's not done.
It's so interesting that you said that you feel that my voice, I guess you said my voice is like influencing my violin playing or creating the sound of my violin. And I wanted the violin to sound like a voice, you know, so some of those lines, I mean, some of the lines are totally violinistic, kind of melodic lines, but some of them are like little phrases as if you're saying something. So I do feel like my violin is my voice, or is like a kind of voice. So I just really wanted that to be translated in that way. And literally, the whole idea of this piece, when I wrote it, I wanted something that felt, you know, all of this is so metaphorical, but felt like the middle of the planet Earth, like the middle of the planet, right? Where it's kind of like flames and it's crazy. And I just wanted something that sounded fiery, but also sounded as if there could be a place where nothing comes from. You can't describe that place, but every single thing that we create, every thought we have, and every word we say and every action we take comes from this place of unmanifested. So this was me in a kind of metaphorical way trying to describe that, you know, and this was this idea that it's drums with the strings, you know, it's like that. It's like the rhythmic beat, but then also this flowingness, you know, the kind of lava, the kind of everything. Anyway, that was the idea originally.
Well, before there was television, there was a time when there was no television. My family, we would have concert, you know, the radio, and the family would sit there, and my father would teach us. He'd say, now, you hear the ocean, you hear the waves, you hear, now listen, there's a bird. The storm is over. Now, can you feel the sun? He actually taught us to listen to music, because concert music, it speaks to you. And I find that I'm so happy that I was taught that, because I don't listen to music, I become music.
What a beautiful way of saying it. That is what happens to us. You know, I'm allowing the music to flow through me and kind of, I want to use the word elevate, but like tap into the place which is in all of our minds, which is kind of like in the present moment. You know, it definitely feels like a letting go. You know, what I really feel like when I play, I can feel my muscles relaxing. You know, the music is actually.
You are totally, you are no longer human. You become, you become music.
Kind of like a vessel, yeah.
If that makes any sense. You know, when I listen to your music, I become your music. I have to shake. I have to get in it.
So hang on. So real quick, because we're out of time. So in the chat room, they're saying that you should bring it to the Nobel Peace Committee, you know, and see if they use that piece, you know, to support world peace. And you guys, Daisy's got a show. Again, it's on July 12th through 14th. Go to daisyjoplingfoundation.org. Check out our new single, Indian Jesus Live. She's going to have a lot of new music coming out, and we'll have her back on at the end of the summer.
Are you coming to LA? Is that in the future?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, not I hope so. I'm sure I will at some point. I have nothing planned, but yeah, I'm sure. You should
play the Hollywood Bowl.
I would love to.
Daisy, thank you for coming on. Good luck with everything.
So much. I love you guys.
You are so delightful in personality, so talented, and whoever is your lover is so lucky. because that person's got it all.
We gotta go. We gotta go. All right. Bye, Daisy. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for
Thank you so much, everyone who joined us.
Bye. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes? Download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.